Steve, what do you have for us?
Following Thursday's dramatic meltdown between Artie and Sal and Richard, a peace initiative of sorts. FuckYouArtieLang.com suspending operations. We need more love and less hate, the creator of the website says. The creator of FuckYouArtieLang.com saying he's willing to put his provocative site back up if the guy came along.
It is interesting, even during the breaks when Richard comes in here to tell me stuff. Artie keeps his distance. Gets involved all the way up when someone's accused. It's very genuine. And I'm the same way. It's very upsetting. You're right on this. Listening to the Howard Stern Show. I don't blame you. There you go. There it is. She stole that from George. Abbott stole it. Say it.
Is this family day?
Oh, that's the way you
And they continue to work together.
Peanuts is my favorite. They're way more professional than me and Rich.
I love Taz.
Yeah, no, there is. There's, I mean, look, all jokes
I love
aside,
peanuts.
and I saw Sal in the
You have a big peanut?
and I looked at him and he looked at me.
Peanuts is my favorite.
Fair enough. Sorry.
Peanuts is my favorite.
Peanuts are my favorite.
Not peanuts.
I mean, there's nothing.
That's what
Peanuts is my favorite.
You know, it's fine.
are my favorite.
I love peanuts.
I love peanuts. Does much.
I wonder what will happen if you pass each other in the hall. You ask them to accidentally say hi.
I love
Or you might go
peanuts.
hi. I love peanuts. To say hi.
That almost happened.
Well, that is
This
exactly
is
what
like
would happen
Berlin's for
when I was
perverts.
doing
It's
that
over.
kind of thing. Eventually, you sort of forget your
Repeat that,
moratorium
por
on
favor.
speaking.
I
and
love
you see the
anal.
person you just automatically
I
say
love
hi.
peanuts.
What I do is to
Repeat that.
combat
It sounds
that
like
is I say
peanut.
an extra big hello.
Yeah, well, she's...
I love peanuts.
Repeat that, por favor.
You do have to think about it.
Like I get Sal nothing, then I go,
Peanuts is my
hey,
favorite.
Peanuts.
You have a big peanut?
That's gotta hurt.
I love peanuts.
If Sal was lying in the well, maybe she loves peanuts.
Maybe all this time this wasn't dirty.
Would you call an ambulance? David Arquette never showed up.
I call you.
Yeah. His friend just showed up. His buddy showed up, but not David.
What's happening?
I don't know, but I got to remind David I leave.
No, I did see Artie, and I impulsively, I said hey, and Artie didn't say hey back, but his eyes lit up a little bit, and then we just both turned.
All right, believe me, he's the draw. So that's how it was. So you forgot and said hello. No, you
Not
never
that I
made it.
forgot, I
overslept.
meant my hello, and I hope everything goes well in Artie's life, and that's it.
Well, you continue to say hello to Artie when you see him in the halls.
I respect
All right,
Artie, and I will continue to say hello, and it's up to him.
There was a bunch of things I was going to do here. I heard a rumor, and tell me if it's true.
first of all,
Your wife feels sorrier for Artie in this than you.
Yes, you mentioned
what does that
earlier
mean?
today that
I
you
went
needed
home,
to
I
play some
explained it, we
Jackie.
had dinner.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things to play, but all right, if you want to do a little Jackie tape, then we'll get to the news.
I fucked up because
Yeah,
I had so much
Jackie
shit
promoted his show by saying that he was going to answer any
I
question
felt like Artie
about
was attacking
leaving
me
our
professionally,
show.
so
Yeah,
if you
apparently
notice,
he couldn't come up
the
with
rips I
any
gave him were his
great way
profession. His
to say,
accomplishment.
another double
So your wife
So I said,
decided,
she said, you stupid asshole.
but I mean, it's the same old Jackie
Why don't
stuff.
you pull Artie's
But it was
side? He's
actually
always
his
helped
best
you.
show,
I
I
said, I know. I go, we have
Because
to
it's
do
always
this.
interesting to hear Jackie
You know
talking
he's got
about
drug issues.
I think
You know
so.
he's got weight issues.
But Jackie
You had him
got
at the
that
point where he was
Jackie
ready to have a
body
heart
that
attack.
always
Which
does
is
that.
God
why
forbid
that's the
he
beauty
does
of
something over the
Jackie.
weekend. She goes, have to
I
give
mean,
up
it's
with
very
yourself. And I
simple.
was just like,
Jackie needed to...
I couldn't live with myself. I go, God forbid that happens, but I hope that's not the case.
Like, you need to be
And
on the
that's
show.
your
You
way
know,
out early.
that's right.
You can't stop.
She
In
feels
fact,
for,
if you get up early,
Artie,
more
and she
reason to
hopes
stop.
that personally that Artie gets the help that he needs for his personal.
But it's got to wasn't unreasonable to him. You know, all that kind of Your wife is on Artie's side.
Well, when my wife explained that, I
it's
said, I get your point.
Well,
and I hope
it's
that he never
always
gets that
different
from
when
Artie.
you're the payer and not the payee.
Yeah, I don't see him paying anybody.
The issue with Artie,
He's always looking for interns. Okay, here's Jackie talking about Benji running the rhythm of the show. No, he knows I'm joking. You hear Benji or do you know I'm joking? Okay. It's interesting how you run the rhythm of the show. According to Jackie.
If I did, I didn't
You know, it was very weird that they sat Benji next to me
Sal's
because
complimenting himself by saying
it was odd because we
something
I
happens,
did
don't
that.
feel.
There's no they.
No,
Me. He never can say my name. You'll see that's a common theme throughout a lot of those.
She hopes that we get
Sounds
along.
ready more than you.
I think your wife would leave you. It's me. I'm the one who decided Artie's wife because she would
we
become
had the perfect show.
We had the perfect show. So this logic is terrific to me. Listen,
It was like
Step up.
it's like putting an extra guitar player next to Paul McCartney. No, I'm done making a
It
joke.
means Artie can say hello to me.
he's Paul McCartney.
Yes, I'll hand it over.
No, it's more like we have a show. Thank you. It does comedy. obviously an uncomfortable. And I found a guy who's a good comedy writer here on the show. And I'm adding a comedy writer to the show in the halls. And I wanted him to experience being in the studio.
That would be like saying, like Fred saying that when Jackie came, he ruined the rhythm.
Well, everything Sal said.
You know what we should do? We should bring Jackie back on the show and tell me run the rhythm of our show.
I don't know. How can I ever take a compliment from him?
Have Benji fire him.
A nice gesture from him?
At this point, I think Jackie would agree to any terms to come back to our show. I'm going to make Benji
Yes,
ball.
and that's a very
And the perfect
awkward thing.
rhythm and the perfect everything. And I was writing
the perfect
rhythm and perfect everything. According to him. Maybe I didn't
So
think
if
so.
that's how you feel
jokes on the fly. But not only was I writing jokes on the fly, but Fred was writing jokes on the fly and handing them to me. So I was writing jokes, reading what Fred wrote, deciding.
Like
what a
I
hard
was
job.
personally attacked on my work, not on the joke, the ball breaking stuff, but on a professional level, I felt I was attacked.
Why were
So
you bothered?
when I do it in your face,
and I think
I
they've
should have
actually
kept
come
it
out
all
sometimes
in.
right.
That stuff's
You
not
know,
true.
you only got
So
in the way
I
when I wrote those things.
I do admire and love everything you do, and I always think it's funny. I try to attack you in a way where I felt I was being
Fred's going to
attacked.
write, and that's it.
Just on a professional level.
We're trying to get
I love the
him
guy.
to thought you would.
And it doesn't hold up. No matter what I say, the truth of the matter is that's not true. You know your success, your parameters of success versus me.
Between the two, putting them up, and we had a perfect rhythm. It was clockwork. It was Tinker's Devil's Chance, to quote from the new baseball, or the old baseball DVD series. That's unbelievable. But we were a perfect team. Imagine, and what Benji wrote, or what he writes, is funny as hell. But it's like if somebody was sitting next to Fred, Ian, if he was sitting next to Fred and said, "Here, try this sound effect," I'm sure it would be great. But Fred's busy deciding what sound effect and putting it in. And if you're going, what about this one? And he's got to decide which of the two. That slows things up. So now, instead of just Fred, I got what I'm writing. I'm
level to where I don't feel we could work together properly.
I don't even know why you want to come back with all the difficulty.
You ever hear such nonsense?
You advice, not comfortable getting advice from you.
But the funny thing is that I am a huge fan of Artie, and me and Artie have had
Believe me, I ruined the rhythm.
listening to Howard while I'm writing. I'm deciding between what I wrote and what Fred wrote. Now I'm deciding between what I wrote, what Fred wrote, and what Benji wrote.
Well, imagine when I'm trying to talk and you're throwing up all these notes. That does not ruin my rhythm.
So I got my hand. There was no reason to have him, and I think that whoever sat him there,
Who put somebody on our show?
Like on the Howard Stern show, who do you think put people in the studio?
We get along great, and I always make sure. I said, Artie, whatever you need, whatever I can do,
Is he serious?
even if it's running an errand, which I've done for Artie happily, whatever it takes, because Artie's
There's a lot of hard.
well, the thing is that
sat him and showed me, like,
I know
you see
there
how
is a
easy
real
replaceable. Imagine
relationship
somebody
that we
sitting
have,
next to
and like
him.
in a dysfunctional family,
I love this. This is what brings it all
Artie
back.
blew up, and I feel bad, and
What's trying?
I know.
I'm trying to teach Jackie a lesson to show you how easily I can replace you.
Right, and I
You got to think.
and I'm definitely, you're right. You
I just like
do, and I'm
Benji. Benji been
recognizing my
for a
faults.
while, and he's been working for us for a
That's
while.
basically
And I
it.
like what
I
he was
blew up.
doing,
I
and
felt
thought,
like I was being personally
well,
attacked.
maybe he can add
I held it
something.
in, and I gave it back, and it turned into
I was
emotion.
trying
But
to teach him. Things are really bad.
I just
You got
wasn't
all-
aware of
Be
me
how
attacking
easy
you.
it is to
Well, that's why.
replace
That's
him.
where when my wife called me an idiot.
Wasn't looking to
It's
replace
me
him.
always holding
We
it
offered him a
in. It's a
boatload.
combination of
We
every
offered him a
time.
boatload of
Like I
dough
thought,
to
like
Well, no,
you
you
can't be
reading
into that, those guys have
It would be like,
mentality
there was
that
deciding between
those
what I
guys-
wrote,
But
what
I'm saying,
Fred
but
wrote,
that- we took
and what
that-
Benji
that's a
wrote.
personal
So I got my
issue.
hand. There was no reason to have him, and I think they, whoever sat him there, sat him so it'd be like, you see how easy you replace it? Imagine somebody sitting next to Rob.
No, but you're not reading into that, though, because you don't know exactly what
Oh, no, I'm not, whether I'm reading into it or not, the point is, there was no
I wish I
reason.
would have spoken to Artie personally.
It's not like,
There was no reason. In other words, in Jackie's mind, everything was perfect. There was no reason. Nothing has changed. Or maybe in my mind, it wasn't perfect.
Although if it was perfect, why'd he walk away?
No, he's saying the show was perfect. Why would I put Benji there? In his opinion, the show was perfect. I never think the show was perfect.
He's behind the back, I'm in front.
I'd like to improve the show. I'm sorry.
Whatever it means. All right, well, good
we
luck.
didn't have enough jokes. You know, imagine somebody saying to Robin, no, don't do this news story, do this news story. She's perfectly capable.
Nobody told him what to write. I just wanted more jokes.
And different perspectives.
You all get along.
Why
We all
not?
have problems, right? You got a little bit out of
And
control.
nobody ever said, well, the show's not funny enough, let's kick it into gear, you know.
I'm not here. I don't
ever said that. How about I said that?
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Right, but do you think this fight is going to... Can you mend these fences is what I'm saying? It appears like Artie's old school. He doesn't take...
Well, that's fine. Listen to me. I basically said what I had to say. I expressed how I feel about Artie. And, you know, I can only change... I can't change Artie, you know, so... But I respect Artie's
nothing
decision.
against Benji, but it was just an odd...
Well, he questions your sincerity. Are you really, truly being sincere about
No,
that?
I'm not.
I mean, no comedy show ever has more rights.
Anything else?
That'd be stupid.
Why would you
What type
have
of question is that?
Right. Why would you
Well,
want
it's a
more
focal
funny
point of
people
the
working?
Okay,
rift
so
between you
what am
guys.
I doing? I've spent 25 minutes on the radio,
like that clip?
and then you ask me if I'm being sincere. What's the point if I'm not going to be sincere? Why am I doing that? Why am I going on there?
I'm trying to gauge your sincerity.
How would you? I don't know what gauge it.
There's one clip where Jackie.
Well, now in one instance you're on the air, one instance you're off the air.
Well, I'm off.
Where he goes,
I'm on the air because it came up about
I'm saying, so I'm trying to gauge you off the air.
am I sincere?
I mean, all of it, yeah. Okay,
But
all
I'm
of them
sitting
are.
here, and I'm on the air, and I'm explaining myself, and I'm explaining my faults, and I'm coming back to sit down, and I'm telling you I wish him well. And then you say, but are you being sincere?
Maybe asking a little bit too much.
Well, there's other factors.
I know there's other factors, but what type of question?
I'm trying to get you to look
Like,
like
you're making absolutely no sense.
I'm making perfect
not.
sense. You're the one. You're just lashing out at me because you're in a bad mood.
I'm not, no, I'm just saying, like I just don't.
I'm saying on the air, it's easy to say you're sincere and to appeal because there's a bunch of listeners. But now I'm
Okay, so there's the answer. Yes, I'm
I'm
being
trying to catch to see if perhaps maybe you're trying to pull one over on the air. That's all I'm trying to
Put
do.
the camera over here. Let's wait all day to see if I'm going to be. Of course, I'm being sincere, Greg. Greg, do you think I'm being sincere? Do you?
Now I do.
All right. Well, there you go. I'm being
Frankly,
sincere.
Mel was very jealous.
But I mean, come on.
Very jealous. He should have taken the money and ran.
Don't lash out at me, man.
I'm not lashing. I love you.
I don't think that's that terrible of a question.
I just think it's so crazy. You know what it is?
Sincerity's been the focal point of your
What I
argument.
asked for was...
What else can I do? I was
There are
honest
guys
about how I
running
felt.
major
I was
morning
honest
shows
about
that don't
keeping
get a third
everything
of what
inside of me. I was honest about not addressing it to him personally, so I wouldn't blow up and put it in his face.
break the bank.
I was
And
honest about all
I made a
of that.
firm decision that I wasn't going to
What
discuss
happens in the end?
numbers.
Who loses?
But I'm sure whatever you think
There's tension in the air. There's there's fights
what
left
I
and
asked for
right.
was
Richard's not
absolutely
talking
fair.
to Jason. Artie's not talking to Richard. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to work in that type of work environment?
Jackie knows.
Do you think
You know how Jackie
I
is.
wasn't
He knows
being
everything.
sincere when I said I should have addressed it differently?
Do you think it's fair to say, though, there's been times when you've said something on the air, then come out here and told me that you were full of shit?
Yeah, but that's not this issue. And I've said that a billion times.
Right, so
It's called ball breaking. When you're breaking balls, you're not
you know,
being serious, you're breaking balls.
So it's not a crazy idea for me to ask you that again.
No,
Even though it's
I'm saying that
too much
I'm saying
as
after
far as
all
they were
this, after
concerned, but
3
it wasn't
days
like I'm
of this
asking for
that
so much
we
money
went
because I
through,
want to lose the
after
job.
3
It was
days
like,
of it.
You're saying you can't tell by this point that I'm being
Right, I
serious.
mean, yeah, that's my point.
I was just covering all angles, but I understand.
You know, listen,
drew a line in the sand.
Greg, I love you to death. I mean, but I'm saying, like, I'm just saying that at this point where I'm
Used to say, I'm a hippie.
Just say, don't ask stupid questions, man.
we don't ask stupid questions. I'm just like, at this
Stand for
point,
myself.
you really
And
have
the
to
bottom
question
line is,
sincerity. If you do, then
Jackie drew a line in the sand and then left with sand.
And now he's a beachcomber.
if you
Right, now he's on
do,
the sand
then
full time.
I have to
Then
question
said,
myself.
hey, I'll just take what the offer was, but it was.
Do you know what I'm saying?
12 years
Like, I'm
later.
not blaming. If it's at a point now after all that, and you still have to say yourself being sincere, then I need some fucking therapy. Then I need to check myself because if I still can't get the point across, then I'm really fucked in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if I built a reputation to that
No, I
degree,
didn't ask for way too much. That is the honest to God truth. I've never ever said to myself,
really
"Geez, I should
fucking
ask for a
totally
little less,"
demented.
because
I think over time this will heal itself.
wasn't too
I
bad.
hope so. Like I said, I will always give Artie the respect
What
that he
happened is we
deserves.
went back and
And
forth
I will always say hello to Artie.
And you can only hope that he'll come around eventually.
Yelling about
That's exactly right. I wish him very, very well.
I sincerely wish you well, Phil.
I
Jackie
sincerely
made it
wish
demand.
everybody
He
well
came
as
to me
well.
and said, look, we're not paying it.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank
You
you.
better fucking man up and get rid of this fucking guy. We're not paying
At
it.
page 69,
I
Jason
said,
Will
come on,
reporting
give him another
Richard
conversation,
Christie is
please.
despondent
He doesn't know
over
what
the
he's
end of his
doing.
month-long
He'll come to his
nationwide
senses.
celebration of
I
Halloween.
felt
Richard
bad for for him. I knew he was committing career suicide. I felt bad for the guy. Called me a sap.
He's more upset over the end of the
got
Halloween
back on the
season than
phone
he is
with
about his
Tom.
bitter confrontation with Artie Lang last week.
Richard is genuinely odd. Tom said, "Okay, we're done." And offer off the table. I'm not hiring.
First of all, I'll tell you this.
I don't care who goes to the bathroom. I don't care if Howard comes to the bathroom. I don't care if Mashiach himself lands on the earth.
Pictures of Richard's
He ain't coming back.
I should put these on HowardStern.com.
Mashiach said,
Where did Tracy get the picture?
I don't know where Tracy got it. Where did Tracy get it? I think they were all over there for something.
He's not coming back.
His toilet and his bathroom floor, and it's a filthy pigs. I've never seen.
So that was it. I mean, and then he calls back a month or so later, and he goes, "These pictures of him, he smells it." He calls me. I'm going to take it. I know it's off the table.
And then I heard that Richard had a really good friend.
Party
How
over.
long ago was this?
This was in 1995. Was the last time I saw him or heard from him.
Yeah.
Best friend in Missouri.
And the last time you saw him is when you went to see Interview with the Vampire.
One of the last times. Well, that was like the best day
And then
I
I didn't
remember
hear
ever
from him for
having
2 months.
with this
It was a
friend, like
complete
this dear friend. We
stalemate.
went to see. It was a day at work.
He was
They
gone
always
for 2
take a
months.
day off for
And
deer
2 months
season.
earlier, they had
And I
decided
was an
never to hire him
electrician
again.
with this friend of mine.
There was no
They take off at noon at the first day of deer season every year,
Jackie
and me
was
and
used to
him were the
getting
only
his way.
people that weren't hunters. So we went to see Interview with the
The call didn't
Vampire
come.
instead, and it's one of my greatest
By the way, we're in the
memories
middle of a
ever.
12-year stalemate with this friend, so you didn't want to technically call it a stalemate.
It's never ending.
Friend tracks.
I stayed home, and maybe I shouldn't have stayed home. But who knows what the proper way to negotiate is? I don't know. You know, they always told me to get a lawyer, so I finally got a lawyer and did what the lawyer told me to do. It was pretty stupid. You know,
my friend, I thought he had passed away because I hadn't heard from him for like 12 years.
Well, he taught him.
And I was just so worried that something had happened to him, and he emailed me
12-year
about 3
stalemate.
weeks
The guy's
ago.
still teaching.
I picked myself up.
What happened?
I'm not teaching anybody.
He just moved away to like St. Thomas.
On the head with a hammer. Well, fuck you. I'm going to pick myself on the head with a hammer. What's the point?
So do you think they wanted you off the show, or do you think they just didn't want to pay
I
you
thought
what
he
you were
was.
asking?
Like, it makes me so sad
I
to think
never
about
thought they
losing
wanted. Jeez,
touch.
I had never even let that thought go through my head. You mean like it's impossible?
Are you going to call me a Jew bastard now?
No, that's fun. No, that's a very viable question. Like, you know, because if they wanted me off the show the first time, why would they have? Because they went from a figure to another.
There was a big conspiracy to get him off the show. No, we wanted him on the show. I like Jack. I like working with him. I turned to him when we were in that private jet to Vegas. He's far away.
He's
We're
in
coming home,
Arizona
actually. He's
now.
in Vegas. And I said to him, we're sitting there eating steaks, lobsters. Jackie was stirring everything he could into that fucking handbag, his beach bag he carried.
Richard's going to put in his DVD
Bottles of champagne, you name it, in that fucking bag. What a schnurr. I said to him, Jack, where are you ever going to be treated like this?
and text messaging each other during the interview with the Vampire. They called each other.
Right, I can get along without any of this.
Is that so weird?
They're not going to get me.
Now, let me explain
God,
This is where
As he's shoving the
my
endless freebies into that beach bag. It was the beach, a magical beach bag, like Felix's bag of tricks.
almost like they
never got overstuffed.
It was bottomless. Right. Robin, I saw cases of water.
I mean, when Richard said, "Is this weird?" You could have had a funny response. Like, let's say you weren't talking. Let's say you weren't talking.
All in that bag. It was
Is this
bottomless.
weird? What would you have said?
I mean, it was unbelievable.
Figure to another figure, so they moved twice. I mean, they were incremental.
It's affecting.
So it was a process.
It was a process for about 5 minutes, and then it stopped.
And they just got too ahead. And
But if it wasn't like, here's what we're offering, take it or get the hell out of here, and you know, and it certainly was insulting. You know, what my salary was to begin with wasn't insulting. You know, I mean, it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money for a guy on the radio. It just wasn't a lot of money for a guy.
Jerk off now or add to our argument.
I know. Everybody's sick of that.
Richard had gay sex with this guy.
I do. I love this guy.
how else could he be this
Listen, I gave him a show on Howard 101.
That's so not true.
But Richard, you're crying. First of
That's
all,
why I like him.
what kind
I
of
got tape.
crazy hillbilly scenario?
I still can't believe that this guy doesn't
lends
have a
itself to
thought
where you
process. He's a
don't-
bright guy.
you don't have
I'd
a
love to give him an
phone number
IQ
on this
test.
guy,
I
your
guarantee
best
it'd be
friend in
high.
Missouri.
No, he moved.
But when it comes to common sense, there isn't any.
phones in wherever
I
he
hate to
went.
say it.
This
I
was
told
years
him
ago.
He was trying to get away from it.
I didn't even have a phone number back then. When I lived in Missouri, I lived in a warehouse. I had no phone, barely had a bathroom. and he moved to the Virgin Islands to go on a boat tour and just to kind of live life and enjoy life and live on a boat. So he didn't really have contact.
That flight to Vegas, Benji was clinging to the wing.
Never.
We wouldn't even let him sit in the plane. Jackie thinks Benji ruined the rhythm.
You're not that important to him?
I think Benji sat there.
No, he said he was like real broken up when he emailed me. He was like, he goes, I can't believe, I just found you. I saw you on the internet. And
Sure.
he said he's been looking for me for years too.
Wants to be back on the show.
Have you ever just went in and maybe just tried to make amends with Robin? Because she seems to be the one that's really...
And you know what I did? This is so...
We
this
had
is,
a Christmas
you guys are
party.
going to stop me on this.
And everybody...
I had a Christmas party, and I invited him.
3 or 4 years ago, like I know his full name, so I called everybody with that name in like several states in the United States to see if it was him. I looked up information,
so my staff could have a
and it was like 50 or 60 different guys with his name, and a lot of them just hung up on me.
I gotta tell you something, Howard. I had a female friend who was telling me a story
or did I marry?
Where somebody, some good friend of hers left, and she was all
tried to make amends with...
I know Jackie didn't even like when I was dating Beth.
Hello, is this Patrick Boyd Anderson, who knows Richard Christie?
I had him over that when I was using Gombic for
Hi, is this the
pictures of Richard's dirty apartment when the Dominic stayed at his house? I took it over.
Will was telling me, I'm sorry, Fred, Will was telling me that Richard came to him and said, Will got the maid that he uses, so he asked him for the recommendation of the maid. Will gave him the number. Will said he went to the apartment and he said, do not call my maid. She's a cleaning woman, not a slave. She doesn't do crime scenes. I don't want you embarrassing me by using my maid.
I would tip her good.
I have a question for Richard. This is a friend from back home.
Yeah, well, like the greatest times of my life, and
but he's from your hometown.
No, from when I lived in Missouri.
You didn't have family there or other friends that might have been able to...
Nobody.
Have you ever seen an Interview with a Vampire? Do you remember a blotchy gay guy who saw it with you?
By the way, I don't want anyone to think Richard is gay. He says he's not gay. We should accept that. You know that already. But Richard will be getting his asshole bleached on the air. Just a few weeks.
Robin, because she seems to be the one that's really...
you guys have never... You've never had a dear friend that, like, when you think about them, you think about all these great memories, all the fun times you had.
And everybody couldn't have been nicer. Robin said to me, why haven't you called me to go to dinner? And I was like, from what I hear,
you on acid? You want to go to dinner with Jackie?
Well, this guy, we had it was really the time of my life, that time that I lived in Missouri.
I had to go to dinner with Jackie.
Not as a gay guy, I didn't love him, but I love him as a friend.
You're crying again, aren't you? Let him talk about his friends so we can see if he's
Tell us
what you love about him.
Well, just that we used to work together, and we just had so many great times. He was such a good friend, and
what kind of times? Tell us.
Well, when I explain it, it's goofy shit. Like we used to make horror movies together, and low-budget movies, and we used to watch him and his wife and me would watch horror movies together.
Jackie, feel free. Imagine if you had found out he was dead.
I don't want to burn any bridges.
I would have flipped out. That's why
you're not
it's
burning
so
any
sad.
bridges.
And why,
what are you saying?
Like when I open that email,
you can leave the show tomorrow. You can go to
because
you get a job at Terrestrial. I do not want to stand in your way. Feel free.
It was hard.
I don't think you heard what I
sound like a fag right now. Sorry.
I got the show.
What's going to happen when you two meet up?
On a fucking...
I heard what you said. And as much as I want that show exclusively, I'm willing to put my
think about all the good times you've missed out on with this guy.
So that you can succeed.
Yeah, kind of. But he explained, we've talked a lot since he contacted me, and he's had a great life. He's married now with kids. And He got the
raw dog. Okay.
Been like an uncle.
Really? I could have been giving birth to your kid.
You must be intoxicated.
The tears coming.
Oh, he's crying.
You would never want to go to dinner with me, and she actually Facebooked me like she Facebooked me like a month or two ago.
Because otherwise, he would have never been able to find me.
Jackie was a mutual friend of somebody.
What about thanking Ben Franklin for inventing electricity?
He's friend with quite the band.
Absolutely. And I got it.
Thank you.
Go, and I actually asked her
thank you, Howard,
a question.
because the way he found me was he found out
to
that
make sure
I
it was
worked on
her.
the show.
You know, I asked her a question that only she would know the answer to, and she wrote back, yeah, it's you know, like what street you grew up on. And she wrote back the right answer. But then I never heard from her again. So, have I ever gone in with my hat? I mean, I told them I would love to be back on the show, and I have no animosity.
She cleaned up the
really
toilet
can't
yesterday.
apologize because I
Cleaned
don't
the
think
whole apartment. I came home from
should I just say I'm
the
sorry
gigs
for
this
whatever I
weekend,
did?
and the apartment was
Tell me what I did wrong, and I'll say I'm sorry. I shouldn't have stayed home, but that was my only negotiation tool left.
How do we all manage to negotiate without staying home? How does that happen? How do you manage never to walk out? You love him so much, and this will be my last question for you guys. How come you used to say to him, Jackie, talk to me, I have to go. I don't walk out, Fred doesn't walk out.
Right. Well, again, we have agents.
Right.
For years, he wouldn't get an agent. He was doing this all on his own.
The only chance to save his life would be to blow him.
Well, the only obvious answer is no.
You wouldn't blow your friend if you loved so much that
let
you're
him
crying.
die.
I'd cry as he passed away, and I would hope he would understand.
Right? I mean, I've been, and you know what the truth of it is, Tom did say to us, if you don't get this straightened out pretty soon, you're going to lose your, when you finally sign your contract, it goes retro to January 1st at the new salary. And he said,
I wouldn't be able to get hard. I mean, he just have to
pushed
suck
the
on my
envelope a little,
flaccid
like, you know, hey, if you don't sign, you're going to lose the retro stuff.
Maybe I'd let him do
I'm
that.
not putting any blame on him, but like,
All right, Richard, go ahead.
I'm not gay.
Go invent some great comedy.
Thank you.
I don't know.
I love everybody here.
As a businessman, Tom has absolutely no vested interest other than, okay, dollars and cents.
They tried to negotiate with him. He turned it down twice. And then Tom said, all right, it's over. That was it. There's no blame.
What has happened to you?
I don't know. I'm emotional.
Is this the result of just having an emotional week last week as well?
No. I was real emotional.
I told everybody I would love to be back on the show, and if they wanted me back on the show.
How long ago was it when he emailed you?
Oh, come on.
About 3 or 4 weeks ago.
So you're back
To me,
in
that's
contact
as
pretty
big an
much.
olive branch as you could, right?
Why, when you rehash some of those great memories you've had, does it get you all choked up? It's not as if he died, though.
No, I know, but we had so much fun.
As nice as I am to him.
And are you trying to make me cry now, too?
I liked him. I tried to hire him. I couldn't get him. I couldn't afford him.
No, I'm just saying it
think
clearly
Fred
means a
and
lot.
I
to
know,
you.
when I talk about this, I get all choked
everybody
up.
says that, and
Just I had so many good times,
sure.
and,
Well, I'll tell you.
and it's
From a
just
pure
like when you have a
comedy
best friend and you don't
standpoint,
know what happened
Gary
to him.
and Fred
you
and
remember so
Robin
many
have
good
been on
times.
And so it's almost tears of joy
since
that
I
you
walked out
reconnected
that
with
door.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Conjures up a lot of.
I'd go like that, and it'd be 10
Coupled
minutes
with
of
the whole
Robin,
Artie
or,
thing,
you know,
you
I'd say
become an emotional
Marshall.
man.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with it. I was like, if that would have never happened, I'd still be choked up.
Okay, we'll put that aside, though. This might help you actually get back in the ring with Artie, so to speak.
Orchestrated.
It just seems like when you come in now, he's starting to wear down a little bit.
Amazing
Like,
how he survived.
he wants to make
You don't
fun of
want
you.
anything to affect the show.
Gary'd be
But
walking
I'm
out
saying,
the
like,
door
this
and
could
said,
be an
Alan, look
olive
at that
branch
ass.
being
You know,
extended.
and I was in
Because the
trouble,
fact
but
that he's
that
even
was
willing
my
to address that
job.
you're in the.
Right.
I'm saying he's starting to come around a little
That
bit.
was my
I mean, you
job.
can't be mad at
You know what I
somebody
mean? So,
forever.
I can't believe
I
that
don't
they have
stay mad at
animosity
anybody
towards me, but maybe they do.
I don't
And,
stay
you know,
mad at people for more than a day.
they're mad at me
You're a
for
big
fucking
softy,
up the
dude.
Beatles.
Yeah, I guess
You're
so.
I always knew you were. I knew you were a loving guy, but I didn't know you were
Paul's mad
a
at John
tear
for
guy.
breaking up the band.
I'll
Well, take
miss
John
you
back in the
after all
fucking
this
band.
stuff.
You know, I
I'm
don't.
not mad at him for breaking up. He decided to leave. I'm not mad. And guess what? The Beatles are doing just fine.
You know what? It's more fun without him.
That's it. He doesn't get it.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, elaborate. Explain to him why it's more fun without him.
People just get along better here.
Right.
Nobody's at odds.
Right. We just come in and we enjoy doing the show.
Yeah, everybody really wants to be here.
Right.
And everybody really has a good time being here.
And quite honestly, there seems to be a better rhythm. To use someone else's words.
No. All right, do you want any more, or are you done?
Oh, no, come on.
Leaving was the best decision he ever made.
All right, let's hear this.
Or do you want to hear Howard doesn't want him back? All right, I'll play you Howard doesn't want him back.
Well, I don't know how leaving was the best decision he ever made, but since he wants to come back.
That's what I'm saying. This is about 10 minutes later. He goes all over the place.
Everybody wants me to say that I'm sorry I left. I feel terrible.
He's absolutely sorry he left.
That the fans are upset, and I feel terrible how much it affected the show. But
it didn't affect the show in the least.
Oh, my God.
We had a bunch of good years with Artie. I don't know. We're having fun. We seem to move from terrestrial to satellite. And,
yeah.
You know, it's just everything's...
How did it affect the show?
I don't know. The show's still going. People still want us. I don't know.
It was the best single decision I ever made. I've had.
But why? Why do you say that?
Because I've never been healthier or happier.
And the show, of course, was making him unhealthy.
Well, let me say this. We care about Jackie's health.
Right.
And that's why he can't come back.
That's it. And thank you. Go have dinner with him and explain that.
And I certainly don't want him unhappy in any way, shape, or form.
You know,
see, that's the important thing, which
he's going to blame the show for him being unhealthy.
Hasn't really come up. Is that
we met him?
I think, here's my theory. He left the show. His life was completely in shambles.
Yeah.
And he stopped drinking because he said, what the fuck did I just do?
I got to get myself together.
I guess if I sat on the beach for 12 years, I'd be healthier, too. And happier.
No, because nobody believes it. You know, it was like one of those dominoes things where I would have never got divorced. I would have never quit drinking. And that's nobody's fault. That's my own fault. But I knew I was caught in the golden handcuffs. So, Jackie, why don't you just stop working weekends? Because of dangling money that any comedian that ever worked for...
Well, now no one's dangling money.
That happened, you know, too. So that was a problem. That's gone now, too.
Yeah. Everything's been solved. In other words, he was tired and burnt out. So instead of giving up his weekend gigs...
He gave up his job.
He gave up his job, and now the weekend gigs are gone.
$20 a night is not going to turn down 20 grand a night. They're just not. And other comics totally get it.
I thought you didn't care about money.
So some of it was self-preservation.
You know, it really was. I knew I had to quit drinking eventually. But those are my own demons. I don't put that on anyone. I don't think
you're putting it on us.
My whole thing is, it was my right to make a decision. I made the decision, and I lived with it.
No, we made the decision.
Bullshit. You were lobbying for more money. You didn't get it. You stayed
blew up
away.
In your face.
And then
2 months later, you wanted your job back.
You decided that it was a great decision. You didn't make a decision. You were staying.
I told Jackie, if he wants to be a great broadcaster, I did tell him this at dinner, you got to come clean and be honest.
Yeah.
That's not an honest answer.
It's like Ellen DeGeneres saying she didn't want to judge people.
Yeah. She wants to judge people. She just was lousy at it.
Yeah.
She won't admit it.
Jackie wanted to keep this job.
Right.
He blew up in his negotiation and ruined it.
That's right.
And so now he decided to leave.
Right. It's the best decision he ever made.
And I've just really enjoyed my life for the last 8 or 9 years. And I know people don't want to hear it.
But it's been 11 years.
He's been gone 12 years.
He's been gone 12 years and he's enjoyed 8 or 9 of them. All right, that's not a bad average.
That's not a bad track record.
But that is the gospel.
The gospel, according to Jackie. So, all right, here's the last one.
Oh, God.
This is, he figured out that I don't want him back.
In all truth be told, and I think anybody in here would agree with me, if he wanted me on that show, I'd be there.
That would be me.
Yeah.
I'm referred to as he.
Finally, you were making some decision.
Right. Finally.
Not they, not we.
Bottom line, he figured out that if I really wanted Jackie on the show, somehow he'd be back.
Somebody else sat Benji next to him, but you could get him back on the show.
Howard, Fred, Gary, they all get to weigh in, but if Howard wanted me there, I think I'd be there. And that's the truth. You know what I mean? I mean, he loves them and respects them to death, but I really think it's, and push comes to shove, you know.
Do you have a thought of maybe why he hasn't asked you to come back?
He's cheap. No, see, I told you. No, I have no. You know, it's. I'm sure it's over. I'm sure he thinks the ship has sailed, and I'm sure it has. Although, the one thing that doesn't make sense is the few times I've walked back in there, it's been so great. But you know, maybe it's like going to dinner with your ex-wife. You can have a great time because you're in. You know, at the end of dinner, she's going home and you're going home. You know.
I knew we'd have a Jackie analogy in there.
Well, it's a good one. You know what I mean?
But complimenting himself. It's a good analogy. I'm his ex-wife.
Jairus, seriously, do you agree? It's like dating your ex-wife. No, but Jairus, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think you and Nancy are a very nice couple. No, I know exactly. No, I know what you mean.
But do I think it? I think it'd be great fun, you know. And it was very weird. I have no idea. And one of the reasons I haven't gone in there and actually confronted it and say, what's the deal? Because I don't know what the deal is with Artie. And the last thing I would want to do is be saying, you know, let me have a seat. If
yeah, Jackie would never want to step on Artie's toes. You know how thoughtful Jackie is.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's what I'll tell Jackie. We're waiting for Artie.
That's right.
Yeah, we got it's like the Seder. We're waiting for Elianovi to walk through the door.
If that job's still, you know, that makes the whole thing crazy. But everybody says, no, he's not coming back, which, you know, I think it's a dead issue, but I love being on the show, and that's where I stand.
All right. There it is, a little of Jackie's show from last night, a little recap, if you will.
That is so much fun.
That is so much fun.
How come I still love talking to Jackie about why he left?
Maybe you want him back, and he can come in every day and talk about why he left. It's all over the place, isn't it? That's why you love it. Because you don't think any of that's real. That's why you love it.
I love the spin.
Wouldn't it be the incredible Jackie the communicator if he sat down and said, ladies and gentlemen, I called this show tonight that you can ask any question, and now I'm going to be the real Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
I made the biggest blunder of my life. I was a comic, was struggling for many years. In fact, I think when we hired Jackie, he was in his 40s. I don't know. I'm not kidding. Right?
Could have been.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And suddenly this guy, this very popular, guy on a roll, radio announcer, has a great team, taps me to be on the show, and I made a terrible mistake. And I want to warn the kids out there not to do this kind of thing. There's no job like what I had in radio. It was a one in a million. I was making great money. Also, my stand-up career blew up. Right. It was unbelievable. All because of this show and the fans. And I fucked it all up. I fucked it up. And I could kick myself in the head for this. And Howard even begged me. He said, listen, Jackie, do another 5 years. Make some money. Put it in the bank. He said it to me, and I ignored him. And that guy is a good friend. Because
it was the stupidest decision I ever made.
Right. He tried to tell me, and I didn't listen. And I am throwing myself at the feet of 10 psychiatrists to straighten me out. Wouldn't that be refreshing?
Getting the smile out of his voice,
right.
That whole thing, and just really coming clean.
But that's not Jackie. Though.
Yeah, sounds out of character.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it would be compelling to hear the real guy. Oh, my God, I blew it. I blew it.
You're talking to the guy who blew one of the best gigs ever.
When you hear about Pete Best missing out on the Beatles, as Jackie always uses Beatles analogies, or you hear about, I don't know,
Brian Dunkelman
saying, I don't really need American Idol. I want to do my own thing. I mean, when you hear these stories, you go out, and Jackie should say, I'm Brian Dunkelman.
And, it's puzzling to me that he had this rant on Howard 100.
101.
101.
Right.
But that's the Howard Stern Network.
That's right.
He's saying that, all this ranting and raving.
Oh, I love it.
On the Howard
My fans love it. That's why I hired Jackie. Listen, and you know why I hired Jackie?
Why?
I feel bad for the fucking guy. This guy, I could not believe how he was self-destructing. So when he sat me down to dinner about 2 years ago, I don't know how long has he been on our channels now.
Oh, it's been at least 3.
3 years ago, we sat down, had a dinner, and he threw himself to me, and he said, listen, I would love to do an hour on the stations. Do you think I could do it? And I felt for the guy. He's not a bad guy. He's a very nice guy, and a fun guy, and a talented guy. But he just is his own worst enemy with this thing.
Yeah, despite the rant, he is engaging. He has interesting metaphors.
Well, when it comes to this, he's very interesting.
The Beatles.
All right, the Beatles. Can you imagine? He's in the Beatles. And he was Paul, right?
John, he was
Paul.
Yes.
Yeah, because John...
You're John, he's Paul.
Right, that's what it sounded like, what he said.
And... You, Benji, were the guitar player.
No, Benji was...
he's the extra guitar player.
Yeah.
Well, they use a Beatles analogy. The Beatles used to bring in Billy Preston to play on some of their songs.
Right, because they wanted keyboards.
But to Jackie's logic, well, that must have fucked up the rhythm. Well, Benji's Billy Preston. And I brought him in because I thought he added some flavor. I don't know. The Beatles even would bring in occasional musicians.
Sure.
Sure. Why not?
People are fascinating, and Jackie is the most fascinating.
There you go. I used to think you were fascinating. You're nothing compared to me.
Oh, absolutely nothing.
You know, big deal. Little cock here and there. It's not that fascinating.
That's right.
A lot of people are doing that.
Gary, so why do you think Jackie needs to constantly revisit his explanation for leaving the show?
Well, because people ask him about it all the time. Why do you think people ask Suzanne Summers why she left Three's Company, or the other guy why he left MASH, the other guy whose name I can't even remember. But no, he left. He was a big part of the show, and he left. And I'm sure it's whenever he gets in any setting with anybody, whether he buys guys a drink at the bar, at some point when they feel comfortable, they'll be like, "What happened? What really happened?" And so it's it's something that he'll live with. Not that it's a negative thing, but it's something that's a part of him.
You don't think? You said it's not negative. Do you think like it gets to him, like it's under his skin?
No, because I think Jackie in his heart thinks he's right. I think Jackie really believes he didn't do anything wrong. And he didn't do anything wrong, except he left. Yeah. I think he thinks we did something wrong.
What do you think about him saying when Benji came in that kind of messed up the rhythm?
To me, that's so weird. It messed up Jackie's rhythm, maybe. But every show adds writers, it takes writers away. You can't keep that means that we should never change. And so, Howard wanted to add a writer to the mix, and I think that's it. Like I said, it messed up Jackie's rhythm, but you got to think of the big picture.
Was that, you think that was like the beginning of it?
No. Yeah. No. Jackie's rhythm being messed up and him wanting more money have nothing to do with each other in my mind. Okay. He left because he wanted more money, whether his rhythm was on or off.
Robin, so what do you make of this whole Jackie thing? Why do you think he feels the need to bring this up again?
Well, if you had done something that you couldn't undo, and, for most of the rest of your life, people looked at you and said, how could you mess up a situation like that? You'd always, I think, probably be trying to spin it.
He just can't get over it.
No, absolutely not, because he's still out there, standing at the window looking in.
And what do you think, how he said that Benji messed up the rhythm of the show? What do you think about that?
Well, I'm a great believer in rhythm. And I never noticed Benji messing up any rhythm of any show. I know when the rhythm is off. And it wasn't Benji if it was off.
You heard that stuff that Jackie was saying about he thinks that you threw the rhythm off?
Yeah.
The show?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Well, it doesn't bother me as much as it seems to, like, in a way I'm flattered that everyone seems in a way defensive about it, but I don't think he's saying that my quality was bad or my content was bad. I think he's just saying what he did, it made it harder, which I could understand. And I have some gratefulness to Jackie for he basically created the template of what I do. It's really all Howard, but it's like, he was an innovator with that kind of process.
So you don't feel that you threw any rhythm off?
No, I might have. I don't know. That's I can't judge how Jackie would feel about something like that. But I could understand what he's saying. That it could have made what he was, but
no hard feelings.
No, not. I mean, there was times in the past when I thought Jackie was mean to me, but I don't think this is being mean to me, and I think I have a nice, friendly, polite, hey, how you doing relationship with Jackie.
Were you surprised that everyone in the studio took your side on this?
No. I mean, no.
It's got to feel good though that everyone thinks you
right,
do a
but
good
again,
job
I think they're talking two different arguments. I mean, I think Jackie's saying one thing and people are kind of
they're not really
responding to something a little different than what he was saying.